Hello guys, welcome to CS Tech Solution. Today's learn is data analytics. Today's learn as a part 7 is data formatting. Data formatting is a process of organizing and as a presenting data in a consistent, readable and as a usable formats. And the proper formatting is makes data as easier to understand, compare, filter, sort and analyze. And first, as data formatting is basic, as data formatting means as apply the appropriate format to as different types of the data. For the example, text is a constant capitalization, and the numbers is constant decimal places, and the date is constant the date format, and the currency is appropriate currencies format, and the percentage is a percentage representations. And example in before as data formatting as a name, salaries and the joining date as to gives, but as names formatting as change as the capital letters and the small letters as to give salary like as integers, and sometime as a decimal format to show, and the joining date as first is date, month and year format, and another's record to as a year, month and date format. And after the formatting as names as gives like a consistent capitalization formats, and the salaries give like as a consistent in the decimal places, and joining date is one format as to follow all the dates. And second is a text formatting. A text formatting is involves making the text values is consistent and the realizable. And common text formatting so operation like uppercase, lowercase, title case, and removing the extra spaces as the removing the unwanted characters, the standardizing spelling, standardizing observations. And the example as gives in the names as first as the extra spaces gives, and after all the letters has to gives in the capital letters, and after the another is a small letter to write all the words. And the common tools as a excel to use as a stream function, upper function, lower function, proper function, sql string function, and python's string methods is to use and change the text format. And after as first letter as the capitals, and all after all the letter as to small in the word, as and as a consistent capitalization format as to follow in all the records. And the third is a number formatting. A number formatting is control how the numerics values are the display without necessary changings, thus underlining the numerics values. And the example is the same values as to gives like 25,000, and as a display as 25, and the commas and triple zeros has to give is the integers values. And the second times the 25 and commas and triple zero dot double zero has to gives like a decimal values. And as a 25,000 dot and the double zeros is the decimal, but as a 25 after is not a commas to write. And the common numbers format is whole numbers, decimal numbers, thousands, separators, and thousand separators is used as the comma sign like this format. And the navigates numbers and the scientific notation. And the example is to show the row values and the formatted value. Row value like 25,000, and as formatted values inside as 25 commas, and triple zeros has to give like a thousand separate with the commas sign. and another as a 25,000 dot as a 5, and is a decimal values to show, and so the 25,000 dot as 50 as to gives, and row value is 0 point as 75. So this is the same format, and the important is the format is change how the values is looks, and it as does not the necessary is change and the underlining the values. And fourth is a date formatting. A date can be as represent in many different formats like date, month, and years, and other method as month, date, and years, and others as a date and the month initials, and as a year as to gives, and other format is year, month, and date, and this may is represent the same data but as a different format, and the common standard format in the date as first as year and after the month and last as date as to show, and other methods like this the format is date, month, and the year, and month, date, and years, and date, days as the month initial and the year as to gives, and why the standardized date as a consistent date makes as sorting easier, filtering easier, data's calculation more realizable, as SQL queries easier, and as data's integrations as easier. And fifth is a currencies formatting. Currencies formatting is represent the monetary values is using the appropriate currency symbols and separators and as a decimal of places. And example is a raw value like 25,000, and the Indian currency like rupees symbols, and after as a 25 commas, and the triple zero dot and the double zero is a decimal values to show, and others example like USA, so as dollar sign to gives, and 25 commas, and the triple zero dot and the double zero says to gives, and the European there says to use the European sign, and 25 commas, and the triple zero dot double zero, and the Indian is a rupees sign is to give, and the 25 dot 25 commas, and the triple zero dot and double zeros has to give, and the important as the currencies formatting should match actual currencies is represented by the data, and it multiple currencies are as present, and the currencies should be as clearly identified rather than as simply applying one symbols to all the values. And six is a percentage format. A percentage format, percentage represent proportions or as the rates, and the example as row decimals like 0 point as a 75, and the percentage is represent as 20, sorry, as a 75 percentage sign is a module sign as to gives, and the other example is should like 0.25, so as a 25 percentage is a sign as to gives, and the 0.50 is 50 percentages to gives, and 1.00 is 100 percentages to gives, and the important as understand the whether the values is already to store as a percentage or as a decimal, and for the example as a 25 percentage equal as a 0.7, sorry, as a 75 percentage equal as a 0.75, but as a 75 is formatted as a percentage by the display as 7500 percentage in some spreadsheet as systems. And the seventh is a standardized formatting. Standardized formatting means as a choosing the one appropriate format and as applying it consistently to as a similar data. and the dates is gives like a date, month, and the year, and other as a years, month, and the date, and other as a date and month initial and the years has to give, and a standardized format look like first as a year and after the month and last as date, and this is the follow of all the values. And uh, another as a example like phone numbers, and before the phone number has to gives like a continuous 10 digit, and after as a uh, sit country symbol like plus, and 95 is a Indian country symbols, and after the space and after the 10 digit has to give, and another as a country's code and the days and after the 10 digit has to give, and define the standardized can be as apply such as standardized format look likes a plus, and the 91 is a country's code, and space after the 10 digit is to gives like this is the standardized format, and the benefit is better releasabilities, and easier comparisons, easier filtering, easier sortings, and the favors formatting errors, and as a better data integration. And 8 is a formatting errors. Formatting errors is occurs then data is the display or as a store in inconsistent or as a inappropriate formats. And examples as date errors like 20 2024, and after the date has to gives like 19, and after as month has to gives, and then the expected format like years, month, and the day, and numbers errors like 25,000, and ENR is Indian currency, so the ENR has to gives, and after the rupee symbols, and write the 25,000, and third times has only to write a 25,000 without any symbols and initial, and then the singles numerics format is the required, and the text error like first as a capital letter and after the small letter, and all the small letter has to gives like all the capital letter has to gives, as a standardized format has to look like first letter is capital and after all the letter has to small in word, and common formatting errors like wrong date format, and the wrong number format, incorrect decimal places as the extra space, and the inconsistent capitalizations, and as fixed units, and the incorrect currency symbol, and as a percentage formatting mistakes is. And the ninth is a consistent formatting. Consistent formatting means as a apply the same formatting rules to as a similar values throughout the data set. And the example as before the employees and the salaries. Employee is first employed the 25,000 salaries, and the second is a rupee symbol, and after the 30,000 salaries has to give, and third employees as the 35,000 dot as 50, and this is the different types of the value is different types of format to gives the value, so as after the formatting as give the one format in all the salaries to write, and like as a rupee sign, and after as thousand separators to use as the commas, and the 25,000 so as a 25 commas, and the triple zeros, and dot after the two zeros is the decimal values to give, and all the standardized format to follow, and the consistent should be applied to as a text and numbers as the date, currency, and the percentage unit, and the identifiers. And 10th is a date and times data cleaning. As a date and time data cleaning is ensure that as dates and the times are as valid, consistent, and as correctly interpreted, and the common task as the identify the invalid dates as a standardized date formats, as convert the text to as date values and handle the missing dates, as remove the unnecessary times components, as standardized time formats, and check the dates range, and handle the time zones then as required. In the example, as a date and times examples as before, as a date format is not standardized, like as the first as date and after the month and after as year, and as times is not formatted is 6 colons and the 05 and pm is to so, and after this date is standardized format like years, month and the date, but as the times is not gives like 18 colons as a 05, and as a date is gives like date and month initials, and after as a year, and as 18 colons and 05 minutes and colons as 00 second, and after the standardization is so as standardized format dates and the time, first is year, month and the date, and times is gives like first as hours as 18 hours and colons, and 05 minutes and the colons, and after the 00 second is to so. Thank you guys to watch the videos. Please subscribe the channel, on the notification and bell icon.